I'm sorry to have broken it at that point, because I really was getting the sense of communicating the flow of the chapters, and what you went through personally in those moments to overcome, which are like profound to me, moments that we all need to overcome. Core realizations that are at the core of either that we don't make it through and we get trapped back in, or we do make it through and we find a way out of that. Yeah, that kind of sorrow and that kind of abandonment. Most of us build a subpersonality of anger, bitterness. It could be revenge. It could be getting back at people. It's, there is energy that isn't allowed an organic expression in the soul satiation. It reverse spins. It turns sour. It turns dark, and that's how they harvest it and use it. Right? They want us to get angry at each other. They want us to see each other as the problem. They want us to blame and seek revenge, and these lower density emotions that I think that even can cut off your creative flow. Although I know that there are creative geniuses that have dark sides.
Absolutely. And this is the transformational center. So all these emotions are part of the game, are part of the experience. We sign up for this. We sign up for this extreme, sometimes very harsh curriculum, because once we graduate, we are going to be the master of the masters. We are going to be the master of separation. We are going to have so much to give and to offer in whatever other journey we are going to take next. It's going to be unbelievable.
So you say that duality, the humanity suffer, the duality humanity suffers leads to self-reflection. Can you speak to that? Because there's so much, I mean, every day we're getting thrown, like somebody else is burning down somebody's life work or beautiful. I mean, the tragedies that we're seeing in the world are certainly demanding. Our hearts are not feeling it all. I don't think we could survive.
Well, again, that is within the game of polarity. We have to understand that we are not polarity. We are unity consciousness who decided for a moment, for a brief moment, to experience polarity. It's like if you decide to play tennis and you just play the game, right? You just play tennis, but you are not tennis. You are just having fun playing a game. Now, in this case, it's undeniable that this game that we sign up for got to some extreme situations that probably nobody would have anticipated. So it got to some extreme situation. Yes, it wasn't meant to be so painful, so harsh, so hard. And that's why people like you, like me, decided to come into this physicality to help the healing of the situation, which got a little bit or a lot of it out of hand. But again, it's still a game. It's still a blink of the eye. It's still a role playing. So if we can see the situation without the drama and see it neutrally, it's like, okay, you know what? If I play this role of a little child that is being raped, and you play the role of a satanic ritual person that is going to rape me, we can help humanity. You know what? It's not a big deal. It's like very short. Let's do it. Okay, action.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's interesting because we are conditioned. I don't know if you could say particularly women, but as I am a woman, I know that we're supposed to be compassionate and And the baby gets fixated because it's symbiotic and it never got anchored in unconditional love at the beginning. So it's always looking for a way to fix everybody, to make everybody be able to love. So it gets the love it needs, and it goes through all of these elaborate things. And then uh, it takes on everything. You know, the baby's original state, symbiotic and narcissistic. It thinks it's at the cause because it has that memory of being a creator. It's that close to the creation, and so it knows that in a way it is creating everything. But that's, you know, it doesn't have the logos yet to put it in balance and see it in perspective. So what I'm getting at, like for myself and being intuitive and a healer, for many years I thought I just have to take this all on, you know, and then they'll love me. I just take it. And so we get sick, we get shut down, we isolate ourselves. The world is too harsh because we're taking it on, and then we feel, oh, that would be so cold and heartless to be neutral and not to take. I mean, that's a real learning curve for a lot of the people I work with too, to how to really just hold their essence and recognize, no, this is giving this pure gift, this is putting the medicine into the collective that it needs, taking on this pain or having to separate from reality because you can't face taking on the pain, or all these gyrations that we are conditioned that we have to play the game. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. They make you a bad boy and girl if you don't go in there and play the game with them.
It's true. Yes, and fundamentally, the foundation of all these is a misinterpretation of what love is.
Exactly. What is love?
Because we associate love with neediness.
Exactly. And someone's going to make us feel better. So
If you, there are some tribes in the American Indian community, when a little child cry, unless it's for some tangible, real reasons, but when he cry because he wants attention, everybody leaves. He is alone, and as soon as he stops crying and he starts to smile, everybody give him attention, which is exactly the opposite of what we do. Since very little, we learn that if we cry and we are playing the game of victim, we get love, we get attention. Oh, what happened to you? Oh, poor guy, I'll help you. You know, the moment I'm happy, almost seems like nobody cares.
Yeah.
Right? See, it's the opposite of the teaching of the Aborigines, which says only when you are in your power, only when you are in joy, we recognize you. Otherwise, just go to the forest and face your demons and don't come back until you face your demons.
Right on.
So in that foundation, we embark, we start, and most of us walk through the whole earth experience with this idea that love, with a sentimentalistic, romantic idea of love, where it means love means I take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with taking care of someone, but very, very often it does interfere with a perfectly orchestrated scenario that our soul has created. Because if I go to the gym and I want to work out my muscle and you keep taking away the weights, you are interfering with my work.
Exactly. We've created a society of wimps, and now being faced with all this, oh my God, yeah, this, like the whole motivation was to keep safe. Everyone's safe. Everyone gets to watch TV and consume junk food and go unconscious, and we're safe and we're good. Like that's the purpose of life.
So in the moment where we realize the difference between pain and suffering, because pain is just an experience. Okay, I have a headache. Interesting experience. But when I add suffering, it means that I start to create a narrative around the pain. And this narrative goes on and on. Poor me. Oh, I need help. Oh, I feel so bad. Now we are into the suffering. And that's most of the people, not most, but a lot of people indulge more in the suffering rather than neutralize themselves and face the pain for just what it is. It's an experience, and it's an experience that life is creating because it has a message that I need to address.
Exactly.
So it's a full responsibility rather than feeling victim and sorry for myself. So I get attention and I get what they call love, which is not love. It's a dependency. It's neediness. It's caging, because the word love and the word freedoms to me are two faces of the same coin. If I say I love you, what I mean is you are free.
Not I own you. You're going to give me everything I need.
Right.
And I now possess you forever. And I made you sign on the dotted line, and you're mine.
Yes, exactly.
And that kills love.
Exactly. Most of our doing at this moment is infected with this love that is not self-empowering and is not freedom. It's actually a bondage. It's like a caging love. So every action that we take, whether it's in relationship, in a creative process, in a work, in whatever, it's always pregnant with this with love fundamentally misguiding, where I mix match love with neediness. And so my doing, it become like an energy sucker.
Totally. Psychic vampires. I
Right.
vampirize you, you vampirize me, and we call it love.
Right, exactly. So that's the foundation of that's what we need to get out. We need to get out from the dance of victim and victimizer. We need to step out of it. And many people, although they say that they want to get out of it, they still just are infatuated, are fascinated by their victimizer or by their victim, and they just don't want to let it go. They just want to continue to do that. And of course, the more you continue, the more dark you go, until a certain point you reach a point of no return. So, like a few percentage of the population at this point are completely lost. They have completely lost their connection with their imagination, with their compassion, with their female. There's no female energy at all anymore. It's all based on ego. And so that's what is happening. And so now we need to find the strength to reconnect with our female energy. And it has to be balanced, because also too female energy doesn't work. We need to be we need to be master of blending in a very nice ratio male and female energy. Then we can embrace fully neutrality and pass through the illusion of polarity into oneness.
That is so interesting, because I think that men have been feminized. I think the feminization of America is part of the problem. I think the feminists have been taken over by the dark feminine, and the terrible mother is who initially programs the boy. And I am on a journey to integrate the masculine as a feminine, and to so apologize to just think it was a wounding of the feminine. I think that the dark feminine has come in and turned a lot of mothers into terrible mothers, and have done horrible things, not to mention the least of which is circumcision, to men, to make them not stand in their will. It's all been an attack on our will, our heart coherent will, and that pure essence. And we need to use our minds, not the mind control, not the programs we're supposed to be thinking, not the super ego that just the police state internalized, but our true conscience, our true intelligence. And I think that men and women, and I mean, I all of my planets in astrology are unconscious. So it's taken me a long time to get here. but I'm seeing the logos, the infinite intelligence. It's a male aspect, and that is what actually I am integrating with all the female flow that I already have. And I think that women need to really face their dark feminine. That's a thing for another topic. And the masculine, the true masculine, the true hero, we need him desperately. And this whole war against the white male is a part of the sabotage, because for whatever the white male, there are certain DNA there. There's a certain ability to see when we start using our individual processes that will liberate us. We have got to use our intelligence to see how they've created the prison. We can't just do that with raw feeling. I mean, it is really, truly a marriage of the two, and they've both gotten a very bad rap. And men and the masculine, and the patriarchy and the controllers, yes, of the patriarchy, but most men, I mean, and all the estrogen and the petrochemicals, they've turned men. Where are the men? I mean, we so need the men too.
So the artist, whether it's music or whatever other expression, but in a way you can say music is the master of the art. But anyway, art is all. The artist has the ability to reset these imbalances with his own expression. When the art is purely conceived, it means it's not contaminated by an agenda, it's not contaminated by an ego. When it's purely conceived and is purely produced in all his phases with a pure intent and with zero expectation, then at the end you have an offering that can take the people that want to and they're ready for, they can't help them to dissipate the illusion of fragmentation, separation, and imbalance between female and male, and can everybody go back to a unity feel.
Yes, the music has the codes for that reintegration. Your music does. I mean, music is so mathematical. I mean, there's such a structure. There's so much masculine in it, but then it's just pouring the feeling through that structure. So the integration, that alchemy, is very much what your music probably is doing. That's why it's such a relief, because they really want us to stay lopsided, right? Either too femme or too masculine, or fighting rather than this. But we need all these pieces for the new human to have everything it needs to make the correction that's required right now. We need it all. It's all us. Yeah. Yes. So what was, okay, let's, so as the book moves on, the sharing of lies.
Yes, what happened is that after the abandonment and the sadness as a powerful trigger of inspiration, and after the recognition of an appreciation of being human and being the planet, and find humanity and planet home, then the search begins.
Then the search begins.
And that's why the track is called Searching Hearts. The heart's search begins. And so the soul, the character of the book, go deeper into the search, both internally and externally.
Both.
Both. It's very important that both the search has made, because as you search internally, you go deeper and deeper to your connection with Source. As you search externally, you start to, as you gain internally your connection with source, you start to see all the deceptions. You start to recognize all the secrets. And that's why the next track is Unfolding Secrets, because that's when the soul starts to unfold on the series, see, understand, deeply understand all the tricks, all the deceptions, all the lies. They are not occult anymore. Now they are visible, they are recognizable. And so that is the next track. And then with that recognition, the next phase is when we start to see the mirror. We start to see into the mirror. We start to unfold our true essence. All the lies start to fall down, and little by little, your true images finally come into the reflection of the mirror, and you start to see who you really are.
I call that the activation of your BS detector, because people say, well, how can you see that? You can only see the truth if you've been willing to face your own truth. And then the mirror is clear. And then you can sense who's lying, who's telling the truth, and what's going on. You would never believe some of these news channels. You'd look, your whole body would tell you this is a lie. Whereas if you're hiding lies in your body, you can't tell what is going on out there. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely.
Go ahead.
And the lies is still an important role, because it gives you the strength to go deep, and it's a tool that allows you to have an experience, a separative experience, so that then you can find the strength to go out of the separation back into oneness. And now when you're back into oneness, your being oneness is even more vibrant, is more expansive, is more enlightening. So once you start, the life at the mirror, and that's the next track, and also the next chapter of the movie, Life at the Mirror. When the mirror start to fade out and start to show you, reveal to you your true essence, then that's when the polarity games start to collapse. That's when you start to understand that there is nothing to feel abandoned from.
Wow.
And that's when the whole matrix collapses. And then that's when you start to go back to oneness. And so the whole journey is start to crumbling down. The whole matrix start to crumbling down. It gives you an amazing experience, because now your knowing is richer, is deeper, it's more profound, it's even more beautiful, your ability to love than before. And so after that, you go into the almost the last track of the album, which is called Shine. And that's track and that chapter symbolize the recognition that everything is one, everything is love, everything is everything is love. That's all you can say. There's not much more you can say. Everything is love, everything is oneness. In that profound recognition, all the bad and the good and the ugly all come and hug you. All the character of your story, all those people that were giving you painful experiences or wonderful experiences, or all the interpreter of the role playing, all the people that play a role in your life, now they take off the mask and they show themselves as you, and you understand that they are you and you are them. And now there is no more polarity, and there is this big embrace. And this big embrace leads the character into the final chapter, which is celebration. And the celebration is basically, it's a beautiful white sailing boat that silently run through the Caribbean Ocean in the blue sky, and the melody of the song start to call the dolphins to join all the character of the story into the celebration. And so this celebration, which is the graduation moment, this celebration is what we all will face at the end of this journey, this physical journey. And like all celebration doesn't last long. It lasts just a little bit. And then at the end of the celebration, as the dolphins disappear far into the horizon, and there is a moment of meditation, and now again the soul, enriched by a more vibrant light that the last experience gave to him, now is already, the book ends like, okay, what's next? What are we going? What is the next adventure?
Yeah.
And then a new cycle starts again. And that's how the music and the book ends.
It sort of doesn't end, really, does it?
Doesn't end. There is no such a thing as ending. There is no such a thing as beginning. Once we understand that we are eternal, we can relax.
That are some wise words right there. So that experience of celebration, does that come in and out of your life now at different points, or has it gone away for a long time and then floods back in? Or is it always there for you? Or
Well, let's say that I don't have high swing up and down emotionally. So I don't go happy, 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 sad, 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 happy, 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 angry, angry, angry. I don't have those swings. Of course, I'm still human, so I still have a range of emotions that I feel every day, but nothing that completely alienate me. I can more or less, I'm quite stable in that neutrality. And still, of course, there is a lot of work that needs to be done, that the journey never ends. But that's where I am right now. And for me, now is basically, like for many of us, now the journey become really, really exciting, because we are coming to the real reason why we came into the physical earth, because now the collective is getting shaken to a point where many will be trying to cross the bridge to the new dream, and they will be open to receive support. And that's why we are here, to give support. We are here first to embark into the journey for our personal evolution, but in it there is also a secondary reason, which is to support life, to help, to be a support of life. And so now, until now, there was not so much what we could do in terms of support life, because the collective was too dormant, too zombie to be really helped. You still were helping, but it was a walk in solitude for the most of the time. Now you start to be seen, you start to be recognized. And that recognition is not so much an ego recognition where you feel better by yourself. It's just that recognition allows to do more of what you're already doing, and even more. And that's the biggest joy, because the biggest joy is based on unselfish act. It's a work of service. That's the biggest joy that the soul can have in this physical form. The question the most relevant question each of us should ask ourselves in every moment of our life is, how can I serve? How can I help? If I make this choice, in what way I'm serving humanity and life?
Absolutely. Every time I do a session, no matter what's going on, how much of a wobble I'm in, if I'm sick, if I'm dizzy, if whatever, I get myself there, I give it all I got, and when I'm done, I feel that heart coherence, that will, that elevation, that universal love, It's in my field for hours. Every time I step up to the plate and do a private session or a group, and the energy's and I'm in the right place for it, it happens no matter what. I mean, it's not, I'll think, oh, I don't feel well, I got to cancel. I go, no, no, you don't. Just show up. And the alchemy always happens. It's amazing.
Yes. Yes, because all these contractions, again, are just generated by this little device, an ego, which is not us, is an artificial implant.
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because we have been actually addressing the ego as an implant and doing the appropriate implant protocols to send it to its rightful outcome and reintegrating into the core self, which is the true operating system. Yes, it is an implant, literally.
Yeah, it is an implant, which we accepted to have it in order to have a more colorful experience. But now this ego is getting more and more discombobulated, destabilized, because the matrix is falling and the ego is getting input from the matrix. And so now it doesn't have any more input from the matrix, so it's by itself, and so it's going crazy, and it's fading out more and more.
Yes, that's right. We just need to shift the center of gravity. It's already in us, but the beautiful thing is we do have choice, even though it's a slave system and our choices have been, kind of like, which form of torture would you like this morning? I mean, out there in the matrix, I don't mean in here, in our soul spark essence. But the beautiful thing about your book, The Journey, it's showing, all right, this was my challenge, abandon at birth, for example. I could have gone off into the nitty-gritty or, dysfunction, however to get energy from people. I'm never giving this up until they love me, and spend the rest of our life, which is called neuroticism, which most of the planet is in. Or I can make another choice. A choice of neutrality, a choice of love, a choice to learn the lesson. You make that choice, and kaboom, you are now embedded in the new divine, the new ancient operating system. You are now source connected. Your choice is what reconnects you to source. You can kick and scream about your cosmic abandonment to the end of the world, and source is listening, going, I get it. Okay, when are you going to stop? Now, come on. Because it's your choice that returns you. It's not like I need to get the attention of source and then I'll be fixed, or I need to get this, man to love me, then I'll be well. I need to get. You don't need to get anything, but what you need to get is usually what we're running away from and want to avoid at all costs. You need to get you what you're running from, you what you don't want to face. You need to get you. That's what you need to get. And when you do it, yeah, source, absolutely. Now I feel the love of source and being adored, and it was there all the time. So why didn't I get it? Because of the choices that I had made. I hadn't figured out how to get back to how to get back online with source. And because they've really tried to keep it from us, how these individual sovereign choices for our own freedom and for love and for balance and for doing no harm are the choices to get everything we want. Sir Francis said, it is giving that we receive, it is loving that we are loved, it is dying that we're born to eternal life. And that is so true. Absolutely. But it's almost a lost art. And the ones that, walk around, Bill Gates and Melinda, like the big humanitarians that are like genociding the whole planet. We're so used to seeing all the big solutions for humanity. These people are pedophiles, they're criminals. And, so it's so refreshing to have. We need some of these things modeled. We're little monkey babies. We need to see, what does love look like? Remember that song? I want to know what love is. I need you to show me. That's literally true. And of course, it's the big prize. So we're getting all these false images and porn overlays. Oh, this is what love is, right? And they teach you from early on, you got to find a boyfriend, you got to find a family. They're giving you all the programs of what love isn't, and they're telling you that's what love is. So this is super challenging. But, bless you, Marco, for being somebody that didn't cop out. I'm sure you're not perfect, but that kept the essence of the uncorrupted love so we can see it and we can feel it. And we can feel it in your music, because without knowing what it feels like, how are we going, let's put it in the positive. By having that model, we can go, oh, yeah. And it activates in us too. It's like a catalyst, spark. That's far and few between. And I'm sure that you've had quite the ride to still be on this ride. You don't talk about it, but I suspect it's been incredibly challenging.
Yes, it is been challenging, of course. It's just um, there are two things that are happening. I just let go of the past. I mean, actually, I change, modify the narrative of the past into love and appreciation. So everything that happened, again, as I explained to you, every time I progresses day by day, particularly when I was in my younger time, I used to reset myself with unconditional love. I would infuse the unconditional love to everything, the bad and good and the ugly, and they all would reveal for what they are, just actors that are playing a role, but behind there is a beautiful soul. And so that allowed me to have a relationship now with my past that is not heavy, it's not contractive. It is, I recognize that it's been some moment very difficult, and some moment very separative and fragmented. But I recognize that in that difficulties, because that difficulties is who I am right now. And so there is only appreciation for that, you know? So that allows me to be more neutral again, to be more
You've
at
been
ease.
doing this your whole life? You
Yeah.
didn't have a teacher, a guru, a master. You just did it your whole life.
Well, I did it. Of course, I also worked a lot outside. I made a lot of researches. I studied many books. But those for me were confirmations more than fundamental teaching. Because we know, inside us, we know. There's nobody can teach us anything. The only thing that something external can do is to help us remembering, you know. But we are masters. We know everything is inside with ourselves. All the truth is inside with ourselves. So we might read a book or have an experience, and that help us to remember what is already inside us.
That is so valuable. And there are some, I hate to say it, but there are a lot of false light gurus and teachers and new age people and religious people and priests and priestesses that have incredible pearls of wisdom and things that we learn from. But underneath, there's a sense, and I have to watch it in myself, to a sense of possession or a sense of making their method the new,
Yeah.
bestseller. But don't go beyond where they've gone. Don't face a shadow they haven't faced, because they will not validate that. It's like you get compartmentalized teachers, but somebody that will hold a space while you really individuate and own your unique. That's somebody that's had to have done some deep shadow work themselves, because the whole program is, we don't let people do that in this collective, do we? If they're getting too close to embodying their soul, whack, give them a traffic ticket, cancel that, put them down, hurt them, get them back in the herd. So the encouragement for individuality, which is going to be the fix, because people have to think critically, they have to create new creation. They can't keep parroting clones of the Matrix. And that's going to take getting that true, authentic spark activated. There's no other way around it, because if you're working from a false persona that you adopted, and your ancestors and your mother and your parents and your past lives adopted just to survive the predators, you can't create the new from a dead energetic or from an anti-life energetic or a false energetic. It's impossible. And people say, oh, you have to compromise. Oh, come on now. You know, Marco, that all sounds nice, but, you've got to go get a job and, you need a girlfriend. Now, what is your problem, boy? Just calm down here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's okay. That's too is part of the experience, and those are all role playing, and you attract whatever life always give you what you need to hear in every given moment in order for you to. So you always attract somebody that push your buttons or trigger you, and they are playing the role until you don't realize and observe the lesson that needs to be learned, and then they will fade out of you. That's why there are some people that are surrounded by so-called predators, and some people are not. It's not that some people are more lucky than others. It's just some people, the predator is a gift of life. You say, hey, I give you this person that is going to abuse you, so you understand certain things, and then once you understand these things, he will fade out from your life instantly.
Yeah, well, I wish humanity would get that and take their masks off and get really well researched and not just scream and burn things down, but say in a very neutral fashion, no, I can't violate my own humanity to do this, and this is bad for me, and these are the reasons. And I mean, all it would take is us as a collective just doing that. But wow, so many people are just going along with it. But that's all right. We're here for the people who aren't and that want to know how to do this, because it's quite a complex. It's very simple. All you need is love. I get that. But in terms of how we got quantumly entangled in all of this, it just, we follow each thread, we unwind it, we get rid of the distortion, we bring the part home. It's our soul. Once you start doing this, you just feel what's right, feel what's good, feel what feels decent to you, and fall in love with the uncorrupted spark, no matter what you've done. We always have to forgive ourselves for all the beings we've hurt and all the damage we've done, and forgive everyone else too, to some extent. When there's some people you don't have to forgive, but the forgiveness, letting it all go at the end, really being done with it, going, I get it, I learned the lesson, I got it, this is like so not what I want to keep looping in. And to realize it's a choice, that everything in our operating system, every experience is a self-creation. We may have had to have patterns that trapped us at gunpoint or being raped, and those patterns went deep into us, and we've needed deep help to come out of it. But no one's done any. At the end of the day, it is a decision, isn't it? Someone can push you to the brink, but at that point, you make the decision. Okay, I'm going with this guy. I'm not going to. And so the power is with us, because it was our decision in the first place. That's what you're saying, right? Is finding that point of decision and
Yes,
making it glorious.
The most impactful way to help and support is to be as more and more fully yourself. Because when you are fully yourself, instead of creating there is a difference between helping you and I give you fish, or I teach you how to fish.
Exactly, yeah.
So when I am fully myself, I am showing how to fish in my way, and you can choose your way, because everybody has different way to become to get to teach, to learn how to fish. But what I'm saying is that by being fully myself, I don't validate your victimhood or my victimhood. I just stand in my power and I create. And in that way, my vibrational offer is the vibrational offer that someone will show you that you can do it, inspire you to find your way, rather than me helping you and validating the fact that you are not good enough, and so I have to help you.
Right. And so that makes those of us in that position have to check our own egos. We want to be so important. I thought I was beyond a lot of this, but I go through a thing where people stay in a group for 6 months, sometimes to 2 years, and they untangle all of this. And they're almost my babies. I mean, in a neutral and as much as I can unattached. But when they leave, I'm really happy for them. That was the whole point. Part of me cringes because I'm still human when the babies leave the nest, and I go through the empty nest moment, and then I, pull myself up and go, well, get out there where the new nest is coming in and shake it off and just be present for who's showing up and give it all you got without being attached, without making them an extension of my ego or a star on my belt or somebody who so appreciates everything I've done that now they're going to be in my life forever. I mean, they're not. A lot of them, if it's really successful, they go. They leave. They don't want to see me for a while. They don't want to even be under that influence. They want to do and that is absolutely healthy.
Absolutely, because this is a journey of self-discovery.
That's right. Well, have we completed and I'm feeling like we may be winding down here and feeling like maybe we've had a completion. Is there anything more you wish to add? Anything that we haven't expressed here? And then, of course, we'd like to hear how to get in touch with you, of course, and I can share all that at the end of where your products are and where they can contact you and all of that. But in terms of an understanding, is there anything more that you feel you would like to share before we close here?
Well, since we are talking about the conclusion of this creative process, the conclusion of creative process is letting go and appreciation. So now I conceived this work gave me a tremendous benefit in terms of self-aware, self-expansion, and now I release it, and I don't have any expectations. So whoever wants to feel a resonance with it, it can benefit, but it's none of my business at this point what happened. It's like if you create something, you blow it into the universe, and then it's free to do whatever it needs to do.
Yeah, that's right. So true.
So, and that's the end of the cycle, and so it will begin a new cycle. And of course, I will be available, and I will consider. In fact, as part of this next step is the idea of producing a live representation of this, which is basically a blending of teaching and live concerts in a probably in a few days sequence, like in a time period of a week or 3 days or 5 days, where we combine the teaching of this body of work with the vibrational offer of the music that this work has to offer, combining them together in order to create that sense of oneness, the sense of, in order to dissipate that illusion and bring everything to balance between the male and the female. So that's going to be the next step eventually. But that's the idea. So the life is a creative process. So you engage with the creative process, you connect with source, and you connect with that part of the energy that wants to come into fruition, because what does it mean to be an artist? And by the way, anybody can be an artist. You can be a postman and to be an artist. It's not just related to the fine arts. You can be anything. In fact, when we are normal, we are all back to the normal. We are all creators. We are all artists. So the creator, what he does, he tap into source and he download informations, and then he take action in order to crystallize those high vibrational information into the lower frequencies in order to create an expansion. Mm-hmm. That is the game. And in order to do that, the only way to do that is to remove completely the ego. Because if the ego is there, the manipulation occurs, because now I have an agenda, I have expectations. And so, yes, I created a beautiful song. For a moment, I was able to connect with the divine source, and I have this amazing song, but no, how much money I'm going to make with this song? How am I going to package? How am I going to, I want to have the contract, I want to make the money, and now that divine strong wave cannot reach its full potentiality. So the artist needs to maintain purity from the very beginning till the end of the process. So he download the information, he take action, because if you don't take action, nothing happens. And he take action without an agenda, with a pure heart, and he commit until the end, and then he let it go.
Yes.
So that's the process. That's the process that I've been living many times, album after album, story after story, whatever it is that I need to create. And every time I do, I expand more. So my way towards the awakening process is through the creative, imaginative process. That's my way out of polarity, through the creative process.
That is the way out. I don't know any other way out. Beautiful. All right. So, I know you have your own website, and we have you now as a mentor up on risemultiversity.org, where you can go to your website, you can go to your Facebook, you can go to all the different aspects, and we're going to have your material, of course, it's for sale on your website. And your website is what?
It's soundsofoneness.com.
Mm-hmm. All right. So obviously, the all of this work is up there now for sale.
It is.
And they can book a private session. And are you on our calendar, or you're on your calendar? How would they book a private discussion?
Wait, they just send me an email, info@soundsofoneness.com, which will be probably in your Rise, in your website.
Yes, if you just go to the mentor page.
I want to say a very simple thing. For those people who feel a resonance to what I'm offering, and for some reason do not have the funds to spend, I don't know, 20, to buy in the bundle or to whatever. If you don't have the means financially, they can contact me privately via email, and we will find a way that they get they get the product, without, in order to support, because the most important thing is to share it. And I don't want that the idea of money interfere with the sharing, compromise the sharing, because sharing right now is much more important than money.
Well, that's really beautiful and very generous. But I certainly hope for $20-some, people will buy your course and your thing and support this remarkable man who's giving his life for this. I mean, that is certainly something.
Well, there are some people that $27, it's a big deal, because they are such in fear, in such a state of powerlessness, they feel they cannot, and that's okay, because again, what is the most important right now is to share. Is to give, to support. It's much more important.
Well, that's very beautiful and very generous of you, Marco.
Sure, of course.
And for anybody that, look at this, look at shadow synthesis, look at Rise Multiversity. We're all here as different mentors, supporting each other and supporting you. And I do free chats too. And if they do the 5 sessions, I give them my course for free. And because right now, whatever we can do, there are a lot of people out there that have the capability of exactly what you've outlined, but they're just quivering in fear and disempowerment and all kinds of AI interference and targeting and MK Ultra, all kinds of crazy. And so that's what Rise Multiversity is here for, our mentors. We're all here to support you in different aspects of the journey, because there is so much support. We've gotten so much support. It's infinite support. And don't listen to anybody that tells you you're not supported. You are so supported. So I think we're just trying to hold that a stance with the omniverse, right? It's like, come on, this is not what they're trying to make it seem like at all. This is the Great Awakening. This is the end of all epics. This is an incredible opportunity. And people like you, Marco, are absolutely holding the portal open. So bless you. Thank you so much. But stay with me because I want to talk to you. Okay, everybody, any closing words, my friend?
No, I just, I love humanity. I love the planet. I believe 100% in the greatness that is reside in each of us, no matter how disconnected, how much fearful you are. I completely 100% believe in you, and I know that inside you there is the most grateful gift, and I'm looking forward to see it soon.
Yay. Yay. Ditto. Much love, everybody. All right. See you soon.